Hello and welcome to Baking on a Budget. Now this time we have a very quick and simple recipe. This is banana bread. This banana bread comes together very quickly, simple to make and always delicious. We have all of the materials just over here and I will tell you exactly what we've got and how much all of that cost. And there is a list of the ingredients in the description below the video. Okay, so to make banana bread, we have first of all 3 bananas. This cost me 56 pence, and these are fairly ripe bananas. You want a fairly soft banana to make this recipe. So we have 3 of those, 56 pence. We have 100 grams of brown sugar at 36 pence. We have 100 grams of white sugar at 12 pence. We have 2 eggs, 28 pence. We have 90 grams of butter at 71 pence. We've also got 225 grams of plain flour at 12 pence. We have a teaspoon of baking powder at 3 pence. We have a teaspoon of bicarb at 2 pence. We have a pinch of salt and we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract at 12 pence. So the entire cost of this cake is £2.32 pence. We're going to get 7 delicious slices of banana bread from that, and that makes each slice 33 pence. So let's start putting this together. First thing I'm going to do here is just chop this butter up a little and I'm going to melt it. So I'm just going to stick it in this pan, put it on a hob until it has melted down, and we are going to use that later in this recipe. Okay, and whilst that is melting, we can get our bananas and get them into this bowl and start mashing them up. Okay, so I'm just going to mash these up with the back of this fork. It's a fairly sturdy fork and that's what you're going to need to get these mashed up properly. A bit slippy in the bowl there. But what we want to do is just mash them up and get them practically pureed. That's the sort of consistency we're after here. So the job is just get these main pieces broken down, and we just want to continue that, as I say, until this is sort of a puree. That's what we're looking for here, with all of the larger lumps broken up and squashed down. And this is the sort of consistency we're after. As I say, any of the larger lumps we just want to take out, beat against the side of the bowl until we have a nice sort of banana slurry. There it is. That is looking good to me. Next thing we want to do, sorry, I'll just check on the butter. That's coming along nicely, a little bit longer and they'll all be melted. Right, next thing we want to do is get the sugars in there and try not to spill it all over the table as I have done. And we want to just mash, again, mix and combine the sugars with the bananas. Now I'm using brown sugar in this. This is not essential. You could use all white sugar if you wish, but I think that brown sugar will just, give it a little colour and a little different taste. That is looking good. As I say, this comes together very quickly, so we just want to make sure all the sugars are nicely combined, which they are, and I'll clear that up. Okay, so next we have the eggs. What we want to do is just crack them and beat them a little before we put them in the mix. And that's 2 eggs going in there. Just combine them. That's good. In go the eggs. And I think I'll just bring this together with this small whisk at this point. Trying to get that egg mixed into the sugar and bananas. Now to that we have our melted butter, which is all nicely melted at this point, so I'm going to add that straight in and also combine that. And once they are nicely combined, we will start adding the dry ingredients. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is get the flour into a sieve, and this is 225 grams of plain flour, and to that I'm adding 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. In it goes. Now I'm just going to sieve that into the mix. There it is. And now we are going to combine that. This may be best done with a spoon. We'll see if this whisk gets it. Oh, it's come together there. I'm not going to overwork this. I'm just going to get it to a point where all of the flour and dry ingredients are combined with the wet. Just make sure we've got all of the dry ingredients down from the bottom of the mix. That's about it there. With bananas, I think another future recipe will be a banoffee pie. Delicious dessert, and again very simple to make, so we'll look at that one in the future. But for right now, I'm saying our mix is good. One more thing which I almost forgot, we want a little bit of vanilla extract in there, and again we'll just mix that in. Okay, that is our banana bread batter mix ready to go. Next thing to do is prepare the tin for this. And the tin here I have just greased a little on the bottom and up the sides, and I have this strip of greaseproof paper which I'm going to line the bottom of it with, and I'm just going to curl that over the sides of the tin so that I can lift the cake out easily once it is baked. Okay, so the very next thing to do is get this into the tin. Now this has, as I say, come together very quickly. It's not more than a few minutes to put the whole thing together, and we just want to get all of that out and into the tin. Get just about every last drop of that out of there, and I'll just use this knife to clean the spatula off. Might get another scraping out of that. That will do it. Now, I'm just going to level that off in the tin as best I can. Again, once it heats up, it'll find its own level. But we'll get that like that. I think I'll remove that because it may burn in the oven. Before I put that in the oven, I also have a piece of tin foil here, which I'll put over the top of that should it start to get too browned on the top, because this is going into an oven for quite some time. It's going into an oven at 160 degrees centigrade. Conversions for all of this are in the description below the video, and it's going to stay in there for about an hour, maybe a little more, maybe an hour 15 minutes. But after an hour I'm going to check it. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on it anyhow because I am in the kitchen having another baking day, so I'll keep an eye on it, and as it comes up to time, if it's getting a little bit too brown, we'll just place that on top to stop the top from burning too much. So into the oven it goes at 160 for just over 1 hour. Okay, banana loaf or banana cake, or however you would say it, banana bread even, fresh out of the oven, smells absolutely divine. I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. We'll cut into it, take a look at that texture, and we'll have a slice. Okay, this has cooled down slightly. There it is, banana bread. Look at that. That looks absolutely delicious, soft, moist. Look at that. Beautiful. That is fantastic. That's a really nice spongy cake or loaf. That's marvellous. A very simple recipe, as you've seen. Takes only minutes to put together, and believe me folks, it's worth doing. Look at that. Beautiful texture in the cake. It's not an overpowering taste of banana, but it's just there in the background, you know. And that whole loaf cost £2.32, making this 33 pence a slice. Now if you serve this with a little coffee, a little dusting of icing sugar on top. I'm just having it plain here. It would go very nice with some double cream as well. Really a recipe worth trying. But as I say, that did take about an hour in the oven, and whilst it was in the oven I also made some other baked goods for throughout the week. I made a couple of these delicious jumbo apple muffins. That's what they are. They're big apple muffins. I'll probably just have half one of those at a time. But I made 2 of them, delicious apple muffins. I made 6 of these cheese pasties, which are looking delicious, and I'll have them for lunches throughout the week. I also made 6 of these oat scones, which are always a favourite of mine, delicious, and the banana loaf itself. And as always, I totted up how much all of this cost me, and this whole spread here cost me £6.98, which I think is very reasonable. We've got a lot of food there for £6.98, and it's all freshly made, and it will be absolutely delicious. So can I say, if you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more videos of this nature, making very simple dishes, absolutely delicious, nice and fresh from the oven, very reasonable cost, do consider subscribing to the channel. We're going to have lots more of these in the year to come. That apple muffin recipe will be one coming in the very near future. So if you would like to see that, as I say, do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you would like a link to the other recipes which I've just shown you here, the cheese pasties and the oat scones, I will put links in the description below this video to those videos, which are already up on the channel. So once more, I thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this beautiful banana bread.